High above the city, nestled amongst the clouds, lived Charlie the unicorn. Now Charlie was no ordinary unicorn. Oh, no! His coat was the color of spun moonlight, and his mane and tail shimmered with every color imaginable, making him the most beautiful unicorn in all the land. But his favorite feature, his wings. They weren't like the delicate gossamer wings of a butterfly or the strong feathered wings of an eagle. No, Charlie's wings were iridescent, shifting and sparkling like a rainbow after a summer rain. He loved to use them to paint rainbows across the sky for the children of the city below. One day, as he was painting a particularly vibrant rainbow, he heard a tiny voice whispering from atop a rooftop. "I wish I could be brave." Charlie stopped mid-stroke and listened intently. The wind shifted, and he could hear the voice again, this time a little louder. "I wish I could be brave." Who was up there? And what kind of wish was that? He couldn't see anyone, but he could hear sniffles. Someone was crying. Gently, Charlie floated closer to the rooftop. There, curled up on the edge, was a small figure with a pointy hat. It was a gnome. He was so small, no bigger than Charlie's hoof, and he was crying so hard that his shoulders shook. "Oh, I'm scared," the gnome whispered, his voice trembling. "What if I fall? What if I'm not brave enough?" Charlie felt a pang of sympathy. He knew what it was like to be scared. He remembered when he first learned to fly, how terrified he'd been, unsure if his wings would lift him off the ground. Carefully, Charlie neared the gnome and said in his kindest voice, "Why don't you make a wish upon a star?" The gnome looked up at Charlie with wide, glistening eyes and asked, "Will it work? You're not angry that I wished to be brave just now?" Charlie shook his head, chuckling softly. "That was just your heart speaking, trying to encourage you. It's all right, now make your wish." The gnome hesitated, then took a deep breath. "I still wish I could be brave." Charlie smiled. He knew just what to do. Opening his large iridescent wing, he revealed a tiny pocket of rainbow dust. It was the magic that made his wings shimmer. It was also the magic of wishes. Taking a small amount in his mouth, he formed it into a sphere and blew it gently towards the sky. The dust rose and sparkled, then shot straight up like a rocket, leaving a glittering trail behind it. Higher and higher it went until it reached the darkest part of the sky, where all the stars twinkled back at it as the gnome watched. The dust transformed into something even more spectacular, a bright, shining star that pulsed with a warm, steady light. "Wow!" the gnome whispered, his fear completely forgotten. The new star wasn't as big as the moon, but it shone with an inner strength that belied its size. Touched by the gnome's wonder, Charlie spoke again. "Now hold on to that light, little one. Let it fill you with courage." The gnome closed his eyes, reached out his hand towards the star, and took a deep breath. When he opened his eyes again, they shone with newfound bravery. He looked down at his hand, which moments before had been shaking, and now was steady and strong. With newfound confidence, the gnome stood up, taller and braver than he'd ever been before. He took a step off the rooftop, then another, and soon was skipping merrily down the street, the star's light guiding his path. Charlie watched him go, a gentle smile on his face. He might be small, the unicorn thought, but that little gnome has a big heart and an even bigger destiny. From that day forward, the gnome was known throughout the land for his bravery, and whenever he felt fear or doubt, he would look up to the night sky and remember the time he wished upon a star. As for Charlie, he continued to paint rainbows across the sky, forever reminding the children of the city below that even the smallest of them can be as brave as the brightest star in the sky.